I was out earlier today, rode for about an hour and a half running some errands, and I recorded some thoughts on the Shoei helmet that I just bought, which is the Shoei Neotec 2. And long story short, I'd watched another guy's video where he used the moto mount with just the rear microphone on the moto mount, and you could hear his voice real fine. And so I thought, okay, I'll do that as an experiment. Well, I recorded all that video, and my voice was not picked up on by the audio. Was not picked up by the microphone. It was unusable material. And when I went back and watched the other guy's video, I think he actually had an open face helmet, or at least a full face helmet that he had removed the visor, and then he had wrapped some what looked like goggle type visor around that. And I think that opening is what permitted the microphone and the motor mount to pick him up. Because me and a bunch of other commenters were saying, like, how are you getting such a good voice out of that media mod? And the only time I did was when I got home and found that it didn't work. I lifted my visor, and yeah, it sounded pretty similar to his. So I unfortunately have decided that wasn't going to work for me. It would have been great if it did. So I now have put, this is the Shoei Neotec 2 helmet. I bought it because I wanted a modular helmet. And of course, on my full face helmet, I use an external battery pack that I usually keep in my pocket. And I had the Movo microphone that's installed in there, and I just hooked the cable into the GoPro media mount. That works great. Now on the modular helmet, I bought a moto mount to mount the GoPro on the front, and you know, with the external battery pack in my pocket, if I raise the modular part of the helmet, of course, the GoPro will, if left untouched, will point to the sky roughly, unless you manually move it. And the cable that's in my coat will stretch, and I practiced with that today, and it was all the way in front of my face, just dangling there. And then, now that I've installed this microphone, this is my first test ride with this, and I'm just going to see how this works out. I've had to leave a lot of loose cable in case I want to raise the modular part. Otherwise, I'm going to have to disconnect those two cables. Right now, I'm not using the external battery. I decided to put a GoPro battery in there, and as you guys know who use these things, I don't have the Enduro battery because I was always using the external battery pack. So I just didn't buy the Enduro, but I think you get about 60 to 70 minutes. And because I want to record everything kind of like a dash cam, you know, having to constantly change that on a 5-6 hour ride gets kind of annoying. And at some point, I may mount a camera on the bike hardwired to the battery of the bike so that it's just always on. But, you know, that's just for the video and the audio of the ride. It's not capturing your reaction and what you're saying. Unless it picks it up, you know, somebody off the bike might be speaking. So I'm certainly not the first to go through all this experimentation. Tons of YouTube videos on it. I'm just trying to figure out what works for my setup and what I like. The other thing I commented on was that Shoei has moved away from the D-rings and gone to these metal bracket, and I thought I would like that, you know, rather than fiddling around with the D-strings, especially with gloves on. I'm trying to get used to this. When I look down, I feel like it's choking me, and you know, maybe when I lose some weight, and that'll help in the face there. But I like the helmet overall. I think that you know, when I put it on, the tops of my ears get folded down, and it hurts. So then I pull the helmet up and down a lot, trying to see if I can get my ears flat. And then what happened with my other Shoei helmet was, after a number of months, it took me too long to replace them, I needed to move to thicker cheek pads to make it tighter as it settled in on my head and face. then the other thing I commented on with this Shoei helmet was I've been using a photochromatic. I look pretty nervous. I've been using a photochromatic visor in my other Shoei full face helmet, and that does great about 80% of the time. It, you know, darkens during the day, lightens during the night. There's sometimes with head-on sun that I really would wish it was darker. So this modular helmet has a clear visor and then has like the drop down, and I had read some commenters didn't like that it doesn't drop down further. And I think the Neotec 3, which is not out in the US, is, at least when I checked last week, it was available in Europe, I think. I think they've made that longer. I kicked around to wait to order to see when that was going to come out, but with no ETA, I decided to just go ahead and order the Neotec 2. And I've been actually fine with that visor the short time I've ridden and tested it. The helmet is quiet to me. Like I don't want to have to think about my helmet. I just want to put it on and it not be a distraction. Right now it's a distraction on my ears. There's a lot of pressure because I think the top of my left ear is folded because I didn't clear it enough. And I have found it, you know, it's hard to reach up in there with your fingers because it's tight. Maybe I'm just putting these on wrong and doing something. The thing I don't like about the helmet is the damn snaps. It seems like hardly any pressure at all, and the snaps come back undone. And I'm constantly having to, when I put the helmet on, you'll hear them crack, where you can tell the snaps came undone. So we're going to get up to speed right here, and we'll see how this microphone sounds, testing this at higher speeds and seeing how it sounds. Make sure no police are here. See how that sounds as we go a little faster. How does that sound? Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Cars coming. I think I'm just gonna keep going. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. The other thing that happened today that I recorded, and all the audio really wasn't any good, so I deleted all the footage. But when I was running the errands, this little kid liked my bike and was with her grandmother, I think, and the grandmother struck up a conversation, and you know, I asked if the granddaughter wanted to honk the horn on the bike, so we did that and got a good laugh out of it. But I get so many people that want to stop and chat. Whoa. They want to stop and chat about the bike, and they comment that in her situation, she said her son, which I think was the girl's father, has been talking about wanting to buy an Indian, and of course that's what I ride. And so she asked if she could take a photograph of my bike because she thought it looked nice, which is a compliment, but it's a testament to Indian. I think I know people get opinionated about their bikes. I've not had really any trouble with this Indian for the most part. That wasn't self-inflicted. I can't, you know, a couple things here and there that, I mean, looking back, was probably mostly my fault with being a newbie. You know, a couple of recall issues they've done. But, you know, I've not broken down. Right now, this bike's got, what does that say? About 14,000 plus miles on it. And I bought this bike used. It had like 300 miles on it when I bought it, so I've put most of those miles on the bike, and I've had a great time with it. This gets to be that time of day / going into night, about an hour from sunset, I guess, where you gotta be super careful. got the brake free light on the rear. I should probably wear some high vis. I did in the beginning and then started wearing different jackets. I do have you know, LED headlamp and the 2 driving lights I keep on all the time. I know the jacket I'm wearing also has some little reflectors on it. I've added a blinking, you know, brake light, so when I hold the brake it does different patterns that I've set. And then the brake free device is on the helmet. Now, I tested this microphone in my office and you know, at home, and it was very loud, and I think part of it is you know, the microphone is super close to my face, and I've noticed if I raise the modular helmet, it knocks the Cardo microphone and this Movo microphone out of place. Let's test it up at these speeds here. It's probably as fast as I would ever go. I don't tend to go much over. Sometimes I've gotten 80 on the interstate. I guess 90. It's rare. I'm usually in the 55 to 70 zone. You know. So we'll see how this sounds when I get back downloaded.